Welcome to NMDP Black Blood Hills. NMDP operates the National Registry of Blood Stem Cell Donors. Tune in as I share tools and resources on ways you can be a change agent and save a life in your community. Welcome to Black Blood Hills. I'm your host, Tamara Weston, and I am joined today by Jeremiah, who is going to walk us through his journey at being called to be a blood stem cell donor, not once, but twice for the NMDP registry. Welcome, Jeremiah.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Can't complain. If I did, nobody'd listen, though.
I would listen.
No, you would listen?
I absolutely would.
Okay, I appreciate it. I don't know if I'll listen to myself.
Oh, okay. It's like that, huh? Well, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Okay, okay.
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm blessed, highly favored, and just thankful to get another chance.
Won't he do it?
He will.
All the time.
And he'll do it again.
There you go. Well, Jeremiah, I introduced you as being a two-time callee, if you will.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, we ran it back one time, didn't we? Yes. Years ago, I was a teenager, and I got the call. And
you got the call for
there was someone in need of a life-saving stem cell transplant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just scared and thinking about me. And unfortunately, the first time I didn't go through with it. And it's something that I think I just never forgave myself for.
Wow, that's a lot. I get it. But let's go back to the beginning and hear the whole story. Why did you join the registry?
Well, the short answer to that question is because I was told to.
By who?
Yeah, Mom.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom. My mom and my aunt were kind of in the throes of it. My aunt needed a donor.
She needed a blood stem cell donor.
She did.
Okay.
She needed a donor, and thank God my mom was a match.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And so while that was working out, my mom kind of pulled me to the side and said, "Listen, son, you really should join," kind of in this mandatory suggestion kind of way. And I went ahead and joined. I did you do the mouth swab, everything. And
did she want you to join after she had already been identified as a match and just join the registry to join the registry, or were you being considered for a match for your aunt as well?
Oh, no, I wasn't. No, it was just Mom. She ended up doing it, and the process was pretty much over at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were just kind of encouraging anyone and everyone about the importance of just, signing up. And I kind of was one of those people, and, me being her son, she needed to make sure I knew how important it was. And I would say, unfortunately, I just feel like, the message didn't go over with me. I didn't realize how important it was, and it led to me not doing it when I did get the call. And when I found out that I actually was a match for someone. And it's just something that's been very, very hard for me, and something I've been very hard on myself about.
How long after you joined did you get the call?
It must have been, it wouldn't have been that long. Months, a year, maybe. I really don't think it was very long after. But yeah, I got the call, and I think immediately I was just very selfish and thinking about, like, what does this mean for me? And is my body going to change? Like,
Those
I'm
are
an
the questions.
actor. Am I still going to be able to work? It's just me. It's just not the way. My concerns about me versus this other person's real life, real pain, real concern is just it's not even comparable.
Well, let me ask you this, and just for the audience, when we say the call, it almost sounds like we're talking about something from the FBI. Like, I got the call. NMDP, a representative, reached out to you.
Right.
Tell us about the call.
Right. It kind of does feel that way because that's how important it is, right? It does feel like you're getting an FBI call, because we are talking about a life here, right? Like we're not talking about something arbitrary. It's the most important thing you could do. It's the most important thing that you should do.
Mhm.
And the thing that really kind of, it kind of inspired me to kind of beat myself up about it is how many times I said no.
They
Because
called you more than once?
Of course they did.
So when they called you, how do you tell them no?
You just don't
I mean,
answer.
you can just say no, but,
I
you
mean,
know.
like it's because NMDP does a very good job of
Finding you.
yeah, because you have to.
Yes.
We're talking about life and death here.
Right.
So you get a call, you get an email, then you get another, then you get a voicemail,
So
then you get this. I mean, and then I got to a point it brings tears to my eyes every single time. I blocked the number. Just so I wouldn't keep seeing it. That's how afraid I was of doing it. I also, me personally, I was pretty hemophobic. I feel like even now, still a little bit, a blood thing. But at the time, again, just thinking about me, and just every time the number would come up, I would just decline, no. And it was just something I'd been harboring for a very long time.
Did you tell your mom?
Yeah, but not immediately. not immediately. I don't know. I mean, if I would have said immediately, like while, my mom and my aunt were doing all these amazing things, and if I would have said that immediately while that was happening, I'm not sure I'd be alive. There's other story. And yeah, so I did. It was a very tough conversation. It was a very stern conversation, and it was deserved. It was deserved. It's a very important lesson that I had to learn the hard way, and just like figuring out miraculously years later that I was a match for someone else just feels like divine intervention.
Well, from the time that you declined the call to the time that you got the second call, what did you do in between? Did you do research? Did you do just trying to find out a little bit more education about the donation process? Or
to be honest with you, I feel like it wasn't even a decision I made. It was something that just happened. Once you register, you're on the registry.
Right.
You can say no.
You can.
And get another call,
Unless you remove
if
yourself.
That's something that happens. And that's exactly what happened. And so it's just immediate. I had been harboring that every day since then. And so, like, once I did get the second call, it's like, dude, I don't care what I don't know. I don't care what I don't know. I'm doing it. I'm saying yes. I'm doing it. This is a person who needs it. And then in the back of my mind, I say, is this the same person? Did
you think it was the same person?
I still don't know. We haven't been able to confirm or deny. I have no idea. I've been told that there is a possibility that it is. People fight, and they fight as hard and long as they can to get someone to donate. And it could very well. The way that I think about it is either way, I've been given a second chance to do the right thing. I didn't do the right thing the first time, so I'm just trying to do it now. And I will be using the rest of the days that I have allotted in this life to tell everyone else to do it also.
Nice. So let's fast forward now to getting ready for the process. What was going through your mind? Anything jitters? Were you still excited?
I think I just was able to steel myself. I was just able to steel myself of like, oh my God, it's just like an exhale, like, like, oh my, I thought I was going to take this to my grave. It's just like, this is just something I should have done. And so the process was just way, way, way less scary, not scary at all, of what I was picturing.
You thought.
You got, 5 days if you're a blood stem cell donor. You got to get injections for those 5 days, just like getting a shot, like getting your flu shot or something like that. You get the shot. I got mine in the arm. They told me, hey, do you want to administer your own shots? Absolutely not. No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't trust myself to do it. do it correctly. So I got some help to do it. My mom was a trooper and she did her own because my mom's a gangster. My mom's a gangster for doing her own shot.
Now, was mom proud that you was doing this second time?
She is. Okay. I think she is now.
Okay.
She is now, and in some like hilarious stroke of luck, it wasn't me that got the call for me. It was her getting the call because I, again, had blocked the number, and by then I had changed my number for other reasons. And so they couldn't get to me. But when you register, you have to have more than one contact. And the second one was my mom. And so I had been in New Orleans for quite some time, coming back home. And, you know, she called me on the phone and, Jeremiah, get your mind down here. you know that thing you were supposed to do? You know that thing you were supposed to do?
They're now calling you.
Yeah, now it's almost like she said, yeah. Now you're going to do it.
Okay.
And so that's what I did. I mean, before I even knew, they told me that there's 2 ways that I could potentially help. I don't care. What do they do?
Way.
You know, can I do both of them? You know, like can I do both ways? What does this person need? And so yeah, just 5 days of shots, and you got your donation day. You get your 5th shot. You donate. Goes out one arm into the machine.
Well, let's slow down. Let's slow down for the listening audience. We want them to understand the process.
Sure.
So you got your 5 days of filgrastim.
Correct.
And that helps you to build additional blood stem cells within your body.
Right.
And then on the 5th day.
Yeah.
That was your donation day, or was it? Okay, that was your donation day. And then you go into the center and you sit down and you did a peripheral blood stem cell?
I did. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So on the 5th and final day of judgment, I did my final shot, and then I just sit in the chair. We have a lot of conversations about what's gonna happen. It's look, man. It was pretty simple. I mean, you get to lie down. They make you comfortable, get you whatever you need, and I'm sitting there watching my anime on Netflix, and and you just give what needs to be given.
Okay.
So it was not a scary process at all.
How did you feel as you sat there, or were you feel any form of emotion? Were you like, this is where I'm supposed to be, or?
I mean, it was definitely an emotional experience the entire way around. Oh man, I think at the time, I was thinking about the original patient, and that's kind of what that's kind of what gets me a little bit, because I don't know what's gonna happen to the original patient, but as I was kind of sitting there, I just look at this, like, we call it a packet of tomato sauce because that's what it looked like, the blood in the spag, and you just look at it and it's like, praise God, someone has a new birthday, I think I was just thinking about the original patient, and that was on my mind a lot. For me, it was also a really different experience because mine was a little bit shorter. I don't know, it's because I'm, on the younger side or what have you, or why that was. I was prepared to, sit there for, quite a long time. Like I said, it's pretty simple. The blood goes out one arm. It goes into the machine, gets the cells it needs, goes back into the other arm. And so I was planning to sit there for quite some time, and not that long after, I think it was like, my time was like 3 hours, something like that. And they come back and they said, "Hey, we got something to tell you." It's like, oh my God, is it bad? Is it bad? I'm the wrong person? What else do I need to do? You need an arm? I'll give you this arm. What do you need? And they tell me, your body has been, making the necessary blood stem cells left and right. You're done already.
Wow.
I was like, are you absolutely sure? Does this person need extra? I'll give you extra. I messed this up please.
Didn't you do it?
I messed this up the first time. Do you need extra? I'll give you extra. I'll give you lagniappe. We say lagniappe in New Orleans. I'll give you some lagniappe. What do you need? But they said, this doesn't necessarily happen all the time, but for you, no, just a few short hours, and I was kind of done already, and I still think about that person. I hope that I could really help.
Did you have any side effects or?
I think I should have read the pamphlet better. I didn't really have any side effects.
Okay.
I had a little bit of aches, and they tell you about everything. There's a nice, colorful pamphlet that you get. This could happen, or maybe nothing. Maybe it won't be. Like my mother's experience, she says, wasn't painful at all. For me, I did have some body aches, particularly like kind of the back area, like kind of like right here, like the small of the back. That was a bit of discomfort there. And I think while I was doing it, I was just like, who cares? Who cares about this small discomfort that I'm feeling? This other person, that's real pain. I have nothing to complain about. And then it's only 5 days. Now, I will say that I wish I would have listened. They said, hey, you can, get yourself some pain relievers and pick these up before you take the shots. And I was like, man, I don't need that. Man, this is going to be fine and stuff like that. And then on the first day, I got the shot. I'm like, oh, no, I definitely need that. Okay. Old ladies walking by in the shower.
She's passing you.
Some help. Look like you're just like, old ladies and turtles and snails whizzing by me as I'm like, and so I wish I would have listened to that. But I mean, other than that, I mean, that's a drop in the bucket. I mean, that's it's not comparable to what the other person is feeling, and you just tell yourself, hey, look, you're saving a life here. There'll be nothing else you do that'll be more important than this.
So, I know that we're coming down to time, and I want to just ask you, in your opinion, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier when you talked about why you initially said no or why you declined the call. When we think about joining the registry, why do you think that we, as a culture, are hesitant to join the registry?
Well, that's a complicated question with an even more complicated answer, right? I think our folk, Black folk, I think we have legitimate historical and long-standing reasons to distrust any kind of medical system. There are lots of horror stories about kind of either, by big pharma or by, just the medical system at large, doctors or whatever, not necessarily taking care of us, not necessarily making us a priority. And so we're distrustful of it for legitimate and systemic reasons. But I'll give you the same answer that I've given many times. If there was ever an exception to be made, this is it. This is it. If there is an exception to be made, this is it. Because the person on the other side is you. The person in need is probably going to look like your mom or your dad or your sister or someone in your family. So that's the one time where the distrust of the system has this boomerang effect and hits you in the back of the head. Because if it was your sister,
you would want someone.
If it was, in my case, your aunt, my goodness, how fast would you want someone to say yes? Yeah.
Well, we're winding down. I think you have told an amazing story, and I think that you have done your job.
Thank you very much. I hope so. And I got many more jobs to do. Y'all need to give me another job? I'll do another job.
And I think you can you don't have to beat yourself up.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
You've come full circle.
I appreciate that.
Any last words for our audience?
Get out there and sign up. Like I said, if you're one of us, go ahead and make the exception and think about something that is bigger than you. And I'll give you something else, my folk, especially, I consider myself to be a part of the Blerd community, the Black nerds. We all look up to heroes, right? Here's your chance to be a real hero. Here's your chance to actually save a life, right? So just think about that as you move forward, and just go ahead and sign up. It's not nearly as scary as you think it is.
Well, Jeremiah, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for telling your story. Clearly, it has impacted you. I thank you for sharing your emotions. I thank you for sharing how you have tried to move forward and do what spiritually you feel you should be doing. Just thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you.
All right.
With that being said, we're going to bring this episode to a close. If you want to know more about NMDP, if you want to know more about the NMDP registry, please head over to www.nmdp.org. And as I always say, it will take all of us to save one of us. Until next time, thanks. Bye.